Okay, so we will start with the today's lecture. So good afternoon, everyone. So this is the second lecture for the engineering mechanics for your online lecture series. I am Professor Omkar Salvi, Assistant Professor in the Mechanical Engineering Department. So during the last lecture, we have discussed the introduction and the basic aspects of the engineering mechanics. So before we start with the today's lecture, we will take a quick review of the last lecture. So during the last lecture, we have seen the first year curriculum. That is total you have 5 subjects in the curriculum. 3 subjects are from the fundamental science department, and the remaining 2 subjects, they are from the electrical engineering, that is your BEE subject, and the engineering mechanics, it is from the mechanical engineering. Then we started with the introduction. What is engineering mechanics? What are the applications? Why it is in the first year engineering? And today we will discuss the syllabus and the prerequisite of the subject. So we have seen the definition for engineering mechanics. It is the branch of physical science which deals with the study of forces and the effect of the forces on the bodies which are at the rest or in the motion. So by referring these definitions, you can observe 3 important points in the definition. One is force, second is the body, and third is the motion. So we have seen what is meaning of force, bodies, and motion. And also we have seen the examples for the forces, bodies, and motion. So you can see here on the screen. What is meaning of force? So the definition of force is, a force is any interaction that when unopposed will change the motion of an object. So force can change the state of rest or it can change the state of motion. So force is further classified into 2 major categories. The first category is contact forces and the second category is the non-contact forces. So again, in the contact forces, you can observe there are 4 types of forces. One is a tension force, which is called as pull. Second is the compression force, which is generally called as a push. Then friction resistance and the drag force, or it is called as air drag. In the non-contact forces, we have 3 types of forces. One is the gravitation, then magnetic attraction, and the electrostatic force. So here on the screen, you can see the example. The first one is the pull or push force. Then second example is the tension force. Third is the friction force. Then next example, where a object is kept on a table, then it is an example of the normal force. So basically a normal force, it is the reaction offered by the surface on the object. And the last example, it is the parachute. And this is the example of the air drag. So these all are the examples of the contact forces. Now the next category of the forces, it is the non-contact force. So everyone must have performed some experiments regarding the non-contact forces. So the first example, it is the gravitation. It is nothing but the free fall of an object. Then second example, it is the electrostatic force. And third example, it is the magnetic force. So everyone is well aware about these non-contact forces as well as contact forces. Then the second part in the definition, that was the bodies. So what is the meaning of bodies by the definition? A body is another word someone can use to describe an object with the mass. Okay. So we describe any object having mass as a bodies for the mathematical calculation. So you can see here some of the examples of the bodies. The first example is a football. Second example, it is the car. Third example, it is the crane, which is lifting an object. And the next example, it is the railway bridge. Okay. So object can be a very small or it can be a large object. Then the last part was in the definition, it was a motion. So generally, motion we can define by using some parameters. And these parameters are, first is the velocity, acceleration, distance, displacement, time, momentum. These are the motion parameters. And when the velocity is 0, then we consider it is a rest condition. So first condition shown here, where velocity is 0, it is nothing but the rest condition. In the second, a boy is kicking one football. So this is the example for the velocity. Third example, it is for the distance, displacement, and the time. And the last example, it is nothing but the momentum. So you know the value for momentum or the formula for momentum. It is P is equal to mass into velocity. Then we saw the classification. So engineering mechanics is classified into two major categories. One is solid mechanics and second is the fluid mechanics. So for your first year engineering mechanics syllabus, we only have the solid mechanics part. So what is basically meaning of solid mechanics? We will deal only with the solid objects. So we will perform force analysis or the motion analysis on the solid bodies only. Okay. Now this solid mechanics, it is further divided into two categories. One is the rigid body mechanics and second is the mechanics of deformable bodies. So basically rigid body mechanics means when you apply any force on the object and if the shape of the object doesn't change, okay, then it is called as rigid body. And again, in the rigid body mechanics, we have two parts. The part one, it is the static and second part is the dynamic. So your entire syllabus for the engineering mechanics will only deal with the rigid body mechanics and specifically it is the static and the dynamic part. Okay. And then we discuss some of the examples, that is a practical application. So first was the spanner design. Then second was the excavator arm or a JCB arm. Third was the railway bridge design. Next was the projectile motion. Then next was the brake design. This is the bicycle brake design. And the last one was the automobile design. So in the automobile design, again, there are subcategories: design of engine, suspension system, gearbox, braking mechanism, chassis. Okay. So there are more examples or the applications for the application engineering mechanics, but I have given some basic examples. So this was the robotics. So this part was covered in the last lecture. So this is the just review of the last lecture. So I hope this is clear to you. This is just a revision for the last lecture. So now we will start with the today's session. So today we will discuss about the course structure and the syllabus. So your engineering mechanics course, it is divided into two sections. The first section is theory section, that is a theory course, and second is the laboratory. Okay. So for the theory course, the course code is FEC 104 as per the syllabus. For theory, you have 3 lectures per week and each lecture will be of 1 hour. And for the practical, there will be 2 lectures or the 2 hours per week for each batch. Then for your internal assessment, you will have 2 compulsory class tests. Each will have 20 marks. And your end semester theory exam, its weightage is 80 marks. So the weightage for each module, it will depend upon the number of teaching hours for each module. So the total theory subject from your exam point of view, it is for the 100 marks. 80 for your final exam and 20 for your internal exam. Then the second part, it is the lab. So for the laboratory, you have code FEL 103. For practical hours, each batch will have 2 hours per week. Then in the laboratory, you have to perform some laboratory work. So this laboratory work is for the 20 marks. So this work, it will include the assignments and the experiments. So you have to complete some assignments on each module and you have to complete the experiment write-up. Then for your attendance, it will carry 5 marks. So total term work, that is the addition of your laboratory work 20 marks and attendance 5 marks. It is the 25 marks. And we have separate oral exam for the practical. It is for the 25 marks. So total lab structure, it will carry the weightage of the 50 marks. So there is separate passing for your practical and your theory exam. So overall, this complete subject, engineering mechanics, is for the 150 marks, 100 marks for your theory and 50 marks for your practical. So I hope this course structure is clear to you. Then next, we will discuss about the syllabus. So your engineer mechanics syllabus, it is mainly divided into two sections. The section 1, it is the static, and your section 2, it is the dynamics. So in the static, we will do the force analysis on the objects which are at the rest, where the velocity is 0. Okay. And in the dynamics, it is the motion analysis by considering the forces. So in the static part, we have 3 modules. This is the module 1. It is from the static. Module 2, it is again from the static. And the module 3, it is from the static. Then from module 4, it is the part of dynamic. So module 4, module 5, and the module 6, it is from the dynamic part. So on an average, we can say the 50% syllabus is from the static, and the 50% syllabus, it is from the dynamic part. So there are 3 modules from the static part and 3 modules from the dynamics part. So we will take just overview of the syllabus. I will not go in detail of the syllabus. Otherwise, we will feel it is a difficult. So the first module, as you can see on the screen, it is for the system of coplanar forces and the resultant and the centroid. So it covers 3 main aspects. One about the force, second about the resultant, and third about the centroid. So in the force, that is a system of coplanar forces, there is a classification depending on the application of forces. And what is meaning of resultant? When there are number of forces acting on any system, then we can convert all these forces into a net force, that is called as resultant. So we have some calculations, some examples on the coplanar force system and the resultant. And the last part in the first module, it is the centroid. So you must have studied the centroid maybe in the 11th standard or in the 12th standard. So there are examples on the centroids. There is some derivation on the moment of area, that is the first moment of area. Then there is formula for centroid of the composite plane laminas. So we will study in detail when we start the first module. Then in the second module, it is about the equilibrium. So the meaning of equilibrium is when any object is under the action of different forces, and if the motion or there is no motion of that object, so velocity is 0, then we can say the object is in the equilibrium. Okay. So for the equilibrium, the summation of forces in the x and y direction must be 0. Then we can say object it is in the equilibrium. Okay. So we have the force analysis related to the equilibrium conditions. Then third module from the static, it is about the friction. So friction means it is the opposing force between the 2 objects in contact when there is a relative motion or there is a tendency of the relative motion. Okay. So we have the problems on the friction. We will cover some definitions, that is static friction, dynamic and kinetic friction, then coefficient of friction, angle of friction, laws of friction, and concept of cone friction. And then we will study the application of friction for the equilibrium of the bodies on the inclined plane. And also we will study the application for the wedges and ladders. So this is the complete part of the static. We have 3 modules. Now from the fourth module, we will start with the dynamics part, where object will be in the motion. Then we will study the forces and the motion parameters. The meaning of motion parameters is velocity, acceleration, then displacement, distance, time, momentum, energy, and power. So all these parameters we can apply when the body is in motion. So the fourth module, it is about the kinematics of particle. So the kinematics of particle means it is only the motion analysis without considering the effect of forces. Okay. So without considering forces means what? We will only deal with velocity, acceleration, displacement, time. We will not consider the force acting on that body. Okay, so this is the part of kinematics of particle. So the kinematics of particle, in this chapter, we will deal with the particle mechanics. So meaning of particle mechanics is you can treat any object as a single particle. That means shape of the object doesn't have any influence on the motion of the object. This is called as kinematics of particle. And the fifth module, which is the kinematics of rigid body, it means we have to consider the shape and the size of that object for the calculation of motion parameters. So when we will calculate velocity, acceleration, displacement, and time, then we have to consider what is the shape of that object. So this is called as kinematics of rigid body. In the sixth module, that is kinetics of particle. Okay, so in the kinetics part, we will do the motion analysis by considering the forces acting on that body. Okay, so in the kinetics of particle, we have work energy principle, we have impulse momentum equation, and we have Newton's second law. So we will study first Newton's second law for the kinetics of particle, then we will study work energy principle, and then we will study the impulse momentum equation. Okay, so this is just an overview of the syllabus. When we will start the syllabus, we will discuss in detail each module. Okay, so I hope this syllabus is now this syllabus that we have just discussed, it is for your theory class. Now for the laboratory, we have to perform total 8 experiments. So these are the experiments. The first experiment is verification of polygon law of coplanar forces. Then second experiment, it is the verification of principle of moments. Third is the determination of support reactions. Your fourth experiment is determination of coefficient of friction. Fifth is verification of equation of the equilibrium for concurrent non-parallel force system. So first 5 experiments, they are from the static, where object will be in the rest condition, that is velocity is 0. From 6 to 8, we have the experiments from the dynamics part. So the 6th experiment, it is for the collision of elastic body. It is the application of conservation of momentum equation. 7th experiment, it is for the kinematics of particle. So in the kinematics of particle experiment, we have to study uniform motion of the particle, then projectile motion and motion under gravity. So we will study 3 types of motion in the 7th experiment. And in the 8th experiment, we have to study the kinetics of particle. And in that kinetics of particle, we will study collision of bodies. Okay. So the last experiment, that is the 8th experiment, we have to consider the forces along with the motion. So this is your laboratory work. So first 5 are from the static part and the remaining 6 to 8 are from the dynamics part. So this is your entire syllabus, theory plus laboratory. Now, what are the prerequisites for your engineering mechanics? So before we start with the syllabus, you must know some of the basic concepts. So the first concept is concept of force. Then second is the Newton's law of motion and the law of gravity. Then next is the velocity, acceleration, momentum, energy, and power. And then you must know the basic units. So here we will start with the first prerequisite, that is a force. So force, by the definition, is an external agent which is capable of changing the state of rest or motion of a particular body, and it is represented in the magnitude and the direction. So basically force, it is a vector quantity. So for the vector, we must have the magnitude and we must know the direction. Okay. So in a simple language, we can define a force. It is a pull or push effect upon an object. So this is simple definition of the force. So here in the example, we can see an object of mass m, which is shown in the figure. Suppose we apply some force on that object having mass m, and if there is no opposition to the applied force. Okay, so the force acting only in the x direction, that is a positive x direction, and there is no force acting in the negative x direction. So what will be the effect of this force? Yes, you can answer in the comment box. What is the effect of the applied force on the mass? So the effect is this object will start the motion and it will get some acceleration. So you can see here in the simulation. Suppose the force is 20 Newton. Then effect of this 20 Newton will be object will start in motion and it will get some acceleration. So this is the concept of the force. We have seen the broad classification in the previous lecture about the force. Now the second prerequisite, it is the Newton's law of motion. So the first law of motion, it is about the inertia. So the statement is a body at state of rest remains at the state of rest, or if it is in the motion, will remain in the motion at a constant velocity unless acted on by net external force. So meaning is, in the first example, you can see the object, it is in the rest. Okay, and there is no force acting on that object. So it will remain in the state of rest for the infinite time. In the second case, we apply some force by kicking that object. Okay, so when we apply the force, object will receive some velocity. And if there is no opposition to that object, then it will remain in the state of motion for the infinite time. Okay, so this is the meaning of the first law. You can see in the last figure, the object, when it receives some opposition, so this red part, it is the air resistance. Okay, so when there is an air resistance, it will try to reduce the velocity of that object. Okay, so it will change the state of motion. So the object will remain in the state of rest, or it will remain in the state of motion unless it is acted upon by net external force. Okay, so here you can see the practical application of the Newton's first law. It is in the spacecraft or the satellite. Okay, so when we launch the satellite out of the Earth atmosphere, where there is no air, that is a pure vacuum. Okay, so in the pure vacuum, if the satellite will keep moving in the space for millions of years with a constant speed, as there is a vacuum and no air resistance to the motion of the satellite. Now the next prerequisite, it is the Newton's second law. So the Newton's second law, it is about the force, mass, and the acceleration. So what is the statement of the Newton's second law? The rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the applied force, and it takes place in the direction of the net force. So this is the Newton's second law. So mathematically, it is given by dP by dt is directly proportional to the applied force F, where P is the momentum. Okay. So by the definition of momentum, we know that momentum is given by the product of mass and velocity. Okay. So in this law, it talks about the change of momentum. So what is the change of momentum? It is the difference between a final momentum and the initial momentum. So mathematically, we can write mv2 minus mv1. Okay, where v2 and v1, these are the final and the initial velocities. So you can see here in the example, at time t is equal to t1, we apply some force F on the mass m, and it has some velocity v1. So this is the initial velocity. Okay. Under the action of this force F, the momentum of this object, it will change with respect to time. Okay. So you can see here in the simulation, object will get the motion, it will get some acceleration, and it will change its momentum with respect to time. So after time t is equal to t2, the velocity of the object, it will become the v2. Okay. So from this example, we can write the change in momentum as mv2 minus mv1. Now, what is the rate of change of momentum? As in the definition it is given, the rate of change of momentum of the body is directly proportional to the applied force. Okay. So the rate of change of momentum is nothing but change of momentum divided by the change in time. So mv2 minus mv1 divided by t2 minus t1. Okay. So from this equation, we can take this mass common. So mass remains constant. There is no change in the mass. Only velocity changes when we apply the force on the object. So v2 minus v1 divided by t2 minus t1. Okay. So the quantity which is in the bracket v2 minus v1 divided by t2 minus t1, it is nothing but the acceleration. Change in velocity divided by change in time. So we can substitute the acceleration for this bracket. So finally, we will get the rate of change of momentum as a mass into acceleration. Okay. And by the definition, this mass into acceleration is directly proportional to the applied force. So this is the formula for force. F is equal to mass into acceleration, and this is the derivation. So we write the formula F is equal to mass into acceleration by referring Newton's second law. And the unit for the mass into acceleration or the force is, unit of mass is kg and unit of acceleration is meter per second square. So the fundamental unit for the force is kg meter per second square. Okay. And we denote this complete unit as a Newton. So 1 Newton, it is equal to 1 kg meter per second square. So this is the correlation between Newton and kg meter per second square. So you must have studied this concept in your 12th standard. So how do we get this directly proportionality into equality here? So in this equation, we write rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force. And here we write mass into acceleration is equal to F. Okay. So this is the experimental. So from the experiment, it is found that if you plot F versus mass into acceleration, so F along x-axis and mass into acceleration along y-axis, then as we increase the value of force from 0 to some infinity, okay, then mass into acceleration, this value will also increase, okay, and the slope of F versus mass into acceleration will be at 45 degrees. So this angle of this line will be exactly 45 degrees. So it means the tan 45, that is nothing but the slope, and this value, it will be 1. So we write dp by dt, it is equal to F, that is the applied force. So I hope this concept is clear to you. That is the Newton's second law, and this derivation F is equal to mass into acceleration. Now here you can see two examples. In the first example, we use the formula F is equal to ma. So this is one object. Its mass is 20 kg, and we are applying some force. And because of this force, this object, it receives some acceleration. A is equal to 2 meter per second square. Okay. So we have to find out what is the force applied. So this force applied, it can be given by using this formula F is equal to mass into acceleration. So mass is 20, acceleration is 2 meter per second square. So force will be 40 Newton. Okay. Now the second equation that we use for the calculation of force is m into g. So this is from the law of gravity. Okay. Here g is acceleration due to gravity. Its value is 9.81. So where do we use this formula? That is a weight force. So you can see here in the example, an object of 50 kg, it is kept on a table. Okay. We want to find out what is the weight force exerted by this object of 50 kg on the table surface. Okay. So this weight force, it can be given by this formula, m into g. So m is 50 and g is the 9.81. So the answer is 490.5 Newton. So for the force, we use the two formula. One is mass into acceleration. And for the weight force, we use the mass into acceleration due to gravity. So here you can see two types of motion. The first motion, it is the accelerated motion. And the second motion, it is the motion with the constant velocity. Okay. So the motion which is accelerated, it meaning is on any object, if we apply some force, so here you can see we apply some 40 Newton force. Okay. Then this object, it will get some acceleration. So at every time instant, its velocity will increase as long as we apply the force on the object. So you can see here, this is the accelerated motion. Now the second example, it is the constant velocity. Okay. So this is the Newton's first law. Now what is given in this example? Initially, there is one force, 40 Newton, acting on the object of 20 kg. And the starting time, suppose P is equal to T1. Object has some velocity, V is equal to 10 meter per second. Okay. And during this motion, suddenly we remove this force. That is the 40 Newton. So what is going to happen if I release the force? Will object come to the rest? It will get accelerated, or it will maintain the constant velocity? Which is the correct case? When there is no opposition to the motion, then object will remain in the state of rest or state of continuous motion. Okay. So in this example, initially force is 40 Newton acting on the object. And at that time, it has velocity 10 meter per second. If I suddenly remove the force, as you can see here, okay, then on this object, there is no force acting. So net force is 0, but it has velocity v is equal to 10 meter per second towards the right side. Okay. So it will maintain this velocity for the rest of the motion. So this is the motion with the constant velocity. So I hope this concept is clear. Motion with the accelerated and motion with the constant velocity. And the third law, it states that for every action in the nature, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay. So you can see here some of the examples. The very common example is you can walk on the ground just because of the Newton's third law. So there is enough friction. It is for the normal reaction. So one book is kept on a surface, that is the table. Okay. So it remains in the state of rest because of the Newton's third law. So book applies some force, that is the weight force in the downward direction. And to support this book, this table, it offers the opposite reaction in the upward direction. So when these two, action and reaction, they are balancing each other, the book will remain in the state of equilibrium, that is the state of rest. So this is the application of Newton's third law. Now this is your actual syllabus. The engineering mechanics, we have only the solid mechanics part. And again, in the solid mechanics, we have the mechanics of rigid bodies. Okay. And then the mechanics of rigid bodies, it is divided into statics and dynamics part. So what is basically a rigid body or rigid body mechanics? It is an object in which distance between any 2 points will not change on the application of force. So this is called as rigid body. So you can see here example. This is the atomic structure for the object. And when we apply the force, we try to compress this object. Object will not change its shape. So the shape will remain same after application and the before application. Okay. So this is called as rigid body. And the deformable body means what? You can see here example, a rubber ball. When we apply some force, that is a compression, it will change the shape of the object. So this is called as deformable bodies. So in the first year syllabus, that is the syllabus of engineering mechanics, we will only deal with the rigid bodies. Now this engineering mechanics subject, it has two sections, as we have seen the syllabus, one is a static and second is the dynamic. So what is the definition of static? The static, it is the branch of engineering mechanics which deals with the effect of the forces on the bodies which are at the rest, okay, where the velocity is zero. So in the static part, we will do the force calculation. These are some of the examples. On the cable which is supporting the electric pole, this is a practical application. Then calculation of forces on the truss member, then calculation of friction. Okay, so these are some examples where we will use the static concept. Now, for second part is dynamics. So definition of dynamics is, it is the branch of engineering mechanics which deals with the effect of forces on the bodies which are in the motion. Okay, so it is a complete motion analysis by considering forces and without considering forces. So in the dynamic, again, there are two sections. One is kinetic section and second is the kinematic section. Okay, so the application of dynamics involves projectile motion, then application of equations of motion, then Newton's second law, and calculation of energy and power. Okay, so this is your major section, static and dynamic. So today we will stop here. So this is just an introduction of your syllabus. So I hope this is clear to you. From next lecture, we will start with the first module. That is your coplanar force system, resultant and the centroid.